Hello and welcome back to another video from Simply MK. My name is Mladen and today we're gonna be reacting to a video from the channel called Daily Dose of Wisdom. And the title of the video is what intrigued me to click on it, and I wanna see what Joe Rogan has to say about it. Anyways, the title is Joe Rogan just made this surprising confession about Jesus. I know this is a clickbait, but I'm very curious to see what Joe Rogan has to say, because he's a very famous podcaster and, well, he's known for other things as well. But I'm very curious to see what he has to say. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the video.
The teachings of Christ, I can't find any faults in it.
Andrew Wilson, he just went on Joe Rogan, and you found this amazing kind of like moment in there where something comes to the surface. Yeah. Let's check it out.
One of the things that I always try to point out to people, they go, why do you go to church? Like, because when I was younger, I was very cynical about religion. And then I've got older. One of the things that I always say is, if there was a pill that could make you as nice as the people that I go to church with, everybody would be on it. Yeah. They are the nicest people you will ever encounter. When you leave the church parking lot, or even when you're entering, they're everybody lets everybody in. It's like no one rushes ahead. It's like you go ahead and then you go ahead. It's like the most self-organized, sure, most charitable way of exiting a parking lot I've ever experienced in my life. The opposite of a concert. You go to a great concert, everybody's like fucking on everybody's bumper, trying to weasel in. People are honking. In church, it's like one person goes, and another person goes, no, you go, wave, and then everybody's fine and everybody's happy. It's like, if you could take a pill that could do that to you, if therapy could do that to you, we should all be on therapy.
What a concept. Imagine a world where people think about somebody besides themselves.
And they think about...
This sounds very nice. I would love to have that in the world. It would be so much better off if we all cared about each other like that, if we had patience for each other like that. I mean, it sounds very nice. Why not, right?
They can think about everybody as a part of a community and a collective community that you care about, that has value to you. And there's...
And then you go, why is mental health rate so much better in these communities? It's like, well, isn't it interesting how much they think about other people than just themselves and duties to those people instead of just me.
They're the kindest people you're ever going to come across. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of value in that. And I think the people that are cynical about that, because they don't want to believe in fairy tales, or they don't want to be stupid, they don't want to get duped by, look, there's a foundation to that. If you just forget about some of the stuff that's in the Bible that, it gets weird when you get old. Like, you go back into the old stuff, because, like, for sure, human beings had some sort of an influence on what was written down and what wasn't written down. But you get just to the teachings of Christ, I can't find any faults in it. Like, it's all about being kind. It's all about this idea that we're all in this together and that you're supposed to lift each other up and look after each other. There's no faults in it. It's not like you have to kill the non-believers. It's not like you get to rape and pillage for the non-believers and the infidels must die. There's none of that.
That's why Christians believe in objective truth, that there must be objective truth, because otherwise why is most of the world following this as though it's objective truth? We seem to be leaning towards this as though this must be the thing which is objectively real and objectively true, and a thing which we can point to that is, because when people are introduced to it, like you just said, it's really hard and difficult to find fault in it. It's not just that. It's interesting. If we reverse it, if we say, what could I do that actually would be the best for me, it would still be that.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest part of the whole thing. It's like, both ways it works for you, even if it's not all about you, or it works for you, even if it is all about you. It's still going to be the better message out of the two.
Yeah, this sounds very good, and on paper it really works well. But if we implement it in reality, it works even better. Did you think I was gonna go another way? Yeah, I would really love a world where we all cared about each other and had patience for each other. It would be so much better off for everybody to just live as if there is something greater than us, to live as if there is a purpose to our lives like that. I see the perspective from an atheist worldview, and I see perspective from a theist worldview, and while it is very hard to prove a God or that there is anything greater than us, it's still very nice to see teachings from Jesus, whatever we think about him, whether he is God, human, he was the best story that we get. I don't see anybody else doing a better story than he did. He healed the sick, he went around just to help people around. Just the teachings alone should help us get a better understanding of what we should do. Care for one another, he says. Love each other as much as I have loved you. So we can see from the story that he is presented in, he loved us every day. He did everything he could for us every day. He was very kind person who really went out of his way to show kindness to one another, show kindness to every single person that he met on his way. He had no wrong bone in his body. Despite what we might think of him or what our beliefs about him are, whether he's just a fictional character in a fictional book, he still has the greatest teachings out there. I didn't see Buddha or Hinduism show, or even Quran show any better teachings than Jesus himself did. Now, we're gonna disagree on some things, minor things I guess, but at the end of the day, what do you think? Are the teachings of Jesus the best thing out there or not? And if not, why not? What better teachings are out there?
It's definitely a better framework for living your life. And there's a lot of people that just reject that think of themselves as intelligent. You know, they think of themselves as intelligent and well-read and educated. And
Too
just
smart
think
for that.
Yeah, I'm too smart for that.
Too smart for all that.
I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
Any atheist needs to take 8 grams of mushrooms. Just
Do a little DMT.
do a little DMT. And you're like, oh, I don't know anything. You think you know things. You don't know a thing. You just know what you've experienced. And
It's an interesting point that he says every atheist should take a couple of grams of mushrooms, or I guess go on any kind of psychedelic trip. This really does open up a human's mind, because you can see things that are beyond our scope of understanding. Now, I don't know how an atheist would respond to this, because as a former atheist myself, I did not have an answer to this, and I was really open-minded to be like, okay, if I go ahead and do this, what will happen? And I went ahead and did it. And it opened up my mind. Ever since I went to ayahuasca ceremony and have seen things that I have seen, no longer am I able to just stay an atheist. So at best, I would be an agnostic, somebody who doesn't really completely believe in God, but also I cannot completely say that there isn't a God. I'm very, very more open-minded now than I was before, because it showed me that there's a possibility that there might be something greater than us out there. So we really should take this really with a grain of salt. I don't know, but I'm really curious, if you're an atheist, what is your thought process on this? What do you think about taking DMT or any kind of psychedelic? Would you be open-minded to it, to have your mind opened, or are you against it because of some reasons that you have found on your own? Please do let me know in the comments below.
I think that the world is better off if people have a great moral and ethical framework. I think morals and ethics and being kind is one of the most important values that human beings can ever possess if you want to live in a productive and healthy community.
Like, let's just assume for a second. Let's just assume it's all nonsense. Every bit of it is just totally made up. We just made it up, right? But we all acted as though it was true. If it's the case that your whole framework is that we just want a society that really works well and does the best it can possibly do for everyone, then shouldn't you, by your own framework, just pretend it's true?
Right. Yeah.
Shouldn't you just act as though it's true anyway?
Jordan Peterson had a very good point about that. Yeah. About believing in God, that if you act as if God is real, you will have a better life. Like it works. It really does work.
Almost like
I'm not really sure I agree with this, because when I had this experience of believing in God and was really into the Bible and thinking like God is watching me, and I had to be very submissive, to say the least, and I had to follow the commands, and I had to be very careful about what I do, it really made me feel like I'm living in some kind of a, I don't know, prison world where I'm not free to be myself. So yeah, I don't really think that having a belief like that is good. Not necessarily, because it really crushes you as a person if you are, I don't know, scared or submissive to the point where you have to worry about things like that. On the other hand, it would be so much better if everybody was just kind, as they say, but based on the framework that Jesus Christ has set for us. We should believe in the things like that because they are pragmatically very much better to do than any atheistic or other theistic viewpoint shows us. The best practice would be what Jesus is preaching: kindness to each other, love, and I don't know, peace.
Universal truth.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. It's fascinating that people that are self-professed atheists and people that think of themselves as too intelligent for religion won't acknowledge that.
These teachings will benefit you if you apply them, if you do them. It's better to not live for yourself, to live for others. Even if you want, like Andrew's argument is, even if you kind of want to reverse engineer it, by living for others, that's actually going to benefit you if you care about living for you. Mm-hmm. But that still doesn't, that doesn't make it true because it's good. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that are good that don't make it, objective or ultimate truth. So I know I feel mixed. I hear him talk about the teachings of Jesus, and I go, I absolutely love that he's acknowledging the beauty, because he grew up a cynic, and now he's going, no, actually, there's something beautiful here. Mm-hmm. But that's still not enough to believe, probably, for the skeptic.
Well, what's interesting about it is if you're willing to acknowledge that Jesus has basically the most profound and innovative moral teachings of any philosopher or religious leader on planet Earth. There was this person who came along, he was a rabbi, his name was Jesus, and he had these amazing moral teachings that people believed and followed, and it kind of changed the world. It allowed things to be a lot better in the world. If you go there and then you go, well, that same person, that same Jesus character from history also said that he was the son of David, the son of man, according to Daniel. And he said that he and the Father are one. He said that he is the way, the truth, and the life. He said that he is the bread of life. He said that his body will be broken for the sins of the world. He had said of him by John the Baptist, behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. And and he went, and John was his best friend. So he's like, yeah, you've got the right understanding. He was worshipped on, I think, 11 accounts throughout the Gospels, and every single time went, you're starting to get the hang of it. Bartimaeus, the blind man, comes to him, the one person who can't see, and says, Son of David, have mercy on me, a sinner. And he heals him. He restores his sight, and then Bartimaeus goes and follows him he's heading back to Jerusalem in that scene, heading back to Calvary, and Bartimaeus follows him, and he's basically acknowledging, this guy understands that I am the son of David and I'm capable of giving mercy. Yeah. So all of that in view, you cannot just say that Jesus is a moral teacher.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the source that you're using to base that claim on also includes within it his claims, his unique claims at being the unique Son of God, at being the Son of Man, according to Daniel, at being the Messiah, and ultimately at claiming to be God himself.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the C.S. Lewis trilemma of unfortunately, it's not that easy. You can't just say he's a good moral teacher. You actually have to face the totality of what was recorded about this historic person named Jesus. Yeah. The greatest moral teacher of all time and claimed to be God.
Okay, we do not know exactly if the Bible is true or not. We cannot say for certain that what's written there is exactly the truth. I mean, I agree with the text when it comes to the moral teachings, and I see the value in it, but do we have any evidence that what really happened there is truth or not? Do we have any evidence that's backing up exactly what's written there? I'm not so sure. And if God is really real, he would present himself better than that, I hope. He would present himself in ways that we would undeniably know that he is out there and that he cares about us and that we were made for a purpose. But I'm not so convinced of that, not because of any Bible teachings, Quran teachings, Hinduism teachings, or whatnot. There is no way that any of these books are showing us the truth of the world. I do, however, agree with Joe Rogan and Andrew when they talk about psychedelic experience. This really opens up the mind to new possibilities and new ways of thinking. Of course, this doesn't mean that you have to do that in order to open up your mind, but to be a full-on atheist makes no sense. But to be a full-on atheist is really drastic measure for you to decide that there is no God out there at all. I understand anybody who's agnostic because at least they have open mind that there might be a possibility of there being something greater than us. Otherwise, we are just limiting ourselves by claiming ourselves to be atheists or theists. We do not know either side. At this point in time, I'm thinking the best approach is for us to be agnostic. This way we are in the golden middle, which is the best place to be, because you do not know the answer to the questions whether there is a God, whether there is a purpose, whether there is real moral values or not. We can understand that morality is subjective to a point, but is also objective to a point. However, how do we determine the objectivity of it? It is very, very difficult. If there is a God who gives us the rules, then we should follow and abide those rules. Why? We need to understand that the point about morality is very, very complex one. It's a very difficult topic to talk about, and it's very difficult to get your grasp on whether we can understand what's the best and ultimate morality and whatnot. I'm kind of getting off topic here, so I'm not gonna keep on talking. Rather, let's get back to the video.
Joe's journey from like when he was a stand-up comedian, mocking Christians, mocking Jesus. Like there's so many clips you could kind of pull right now that would just like summarize his view of Christians. And then he's going, man, you know, if you could take a pill and be as nice and kind as these people are, everyone would take that pill. If you could have as much peace as they have, if you could have as much, you know. But to me, it's weird. I feel always mixed on this because I want people to have peace and hope and joy. But there are, you know, Mormons offer peace or hope or joy, but it doesn't mean that they have the right conclusion about Jesus. So there's a side of it where I'm like, pragmatism's good, but it's not everything. You know, so I hear this clip and I go, I'm so glad he's seeing the beauty of Jesus.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to just view scriptures pragmatically and says, does this work? That might be beneficial to your life. Like the book of Proverbs, a non-Christian or Christian can read it, apply it. It's going to benefit everyone's life. There's might be wisdom there. It's like wisdom literature. But there's a difference between is this wise and is this true? Like ultimate truth, ultimate reality, the thing that defines me. So I don't know. I'm like, oh, you're so close.
There's also something interesting in there. It reminds me of when Wes Huff went on the Flagrant podcast and was talking to Andrew Schultz. And toward the end of that conversation, Andrew Schultz basically says, my problem with Christianity is that it makes this claim that it's good news, and it makes this claim that it's capable of making you feel good about yourself and being happy. But in order to get you there, it first has to make you feel like a POS. And he goes, but I already feel good about myself. So why would I need to believe this message in order to feel like a POS in order to then again feel good about myself? I'm already there. And I kind of have that like clip in the back of my mind almost at all times, because I think he just articulated the way that the culture thinks about things. And there's like an assumption within that the goal is to feel good about yourself. That the goal is basically to be happy in the temporary years of your life on planet Earth. And that is actually not the goal of Christianity, to make you feel good about yourself. The goal of Christianity is to bring you into right relationship with your Creator, to allow for you to be suitable for a perfectly holy God.
This is incredible. To think that we have to be molded to have a perfect relationship with a God that is so beautiful and without any sin and so great that we just have to do all kinds of things and go through all kinds of loops that are gonna allow us to have a relationship with him is ridiculous to me. I mean, this is absolutely ludicrous. For no reason should we have to adapt ourselves in order to please any kind of entity out there. We should be loved as we are. If God is a creator who created us, he should love us as we are because he created us this way. Otherwise, he can simply go f*** himself.
far as I understand, that's the purpose of the incarnation.
Yeah.
That where Adam fell, Christ would not fall. That where mankind was cursed, the curse would come upon him who hung on a tree. And on throughout the book of Romans. The main point of the incarnation was for Christ to die as a person for all people, so that all might be saved. And so it's just a different goal than that you would feel good about yourself. It's no, that you would be given the righteousness of Christ. God made Christ, who knew no sin, to be sin for you, so that you might become the righteousness of God in Christ. So that's a really important point. Like it's not about your temporary happiness. It's about the it's about you being given a new nature that is suitable for your Creator, so that you can be with Him.
Yeah, at this point they are just preaching, and I'm not really interested in watching that anymore because I already know the story and I'm not very impressed with it anymore. I like what the Bible teaches when it comes to Jesus and what he's talking about. Whether it is real or not, I do not know, but let's leave it at that. Otherwise, if you are interested in watching this video, you can go ahead and click in the link in the description below and watch the original video there. And if you're not, then thank you for watching this video. Hope you had some fun, hope you learned something new. We got to experience what Joe Rogan is thinking, what Andrew Wilson is thinking, and I like their ideas. I like what they're kind of preaching as well, but it's really up to our own personal worldview and our own personal views that we're gonna accept or not what they are talking about or not. Thank you for watching this video once again, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao!